What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel, man. Make sure you guys go ahead and like and subscribe. And today we have one of the brothers, man, that is, really up and coming. He does a lot of work here for our community here in the manosphere behind the scenes. A lot of you guys don't know it. Also for the fitness community, the dating coach community. That's a brother that's in plug in tune with all of us. From the alpha male strategies of the world to Stefan to brothers like myself. The one and only SPK lifestyle. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell you guys what his channel is all about. Go ahead, brother.
YouTube, what's good, man? Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Appreciate you guys for rocking with O'Shea, rocking with the channel, rocking with me. For you guys that don't know me, I'm a YouTuber. I do travel content, some fitness content every now and again, just trying to show you guys that it's a better way to live. Keep chasing your dreams, keep believing in yourself. You can do whatever you want to do, go wherever you want to go. So I try to make, positive, uplifting content, stuff like that, stuff that you can enjoy, take your mind off the pains of the world and stuff like that. So that's pretty much me.
Well, brother, I've seen you really grow. I was talking to brother Alpha Male Strategies about you on the phone, and we're both talking about how your channel has grown, how you have grown. And I noticed that the growth from you has been since you've left the United States. And you're just telling me that the only way you're going to the United States is how?
In handcuffs. In handcuffs. The FBI, Interpol gonna have to come and get me. Because I'm not going back. I'm sorry, I can't. That's why my messages changed on my channel. Because it's just like I didn't know all this was out here. And this is just the first step. And it's just like, man, I want everybody. That's why I encourage everybody, get your passport. It's no reason to not have your passport. It's $140. Go and put down the Black and Miles, put down the liquor bottle, save up some money, go to the post office, apply, get your passport. Right? There's no reason to not have it.
Let me ask you this, man, because a lot of African American men typically don't travel out, and you're currently been living in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
How has the world opened up to you now that you have escaped the Matrix? What have you experienced now that you weren't experiencing in the States?
Yeah, well, that term "escape the Matrix" I first heard from Taylor Made Dreams. When I interviewed him, he said he got it from Charles Tyler. I never got to meet Charles Tyler, but I did get to watch some of his content, posthumously. I think that's how you say it. So rest in peace to him. But man, it's just, I have learned a lot. And it's just like, I feel like I have just been suppressed so much because people always try to have the direction for your life to go that they want. Right? They always try to tell you what you should do because that's what they want to do. So they want to live through you, or they feel like they have a direction for your life. But when in actuality, you need to get out and live your own life for yourself. So for me, it's just leaving the United States, meeting new people, a new culture, learning a new language, right? Becoming more and more fluent in Espanol and stuff like that. I plan to start picking up Portuguese soon. So it's just like, I'm sorry, I have no reason to go back. It's a lot more to do.
Why do you think that, well, let me just say this. There was a video that I did, I think it was maybe a few days ago. I do so many videos. And the video was pretty much talking about how, when Black women get a chance to travel,
Mm-hmm.
It's Carrie Champion, who was on ESPN.
I know.
She was talking about how when she went to France,
Mm-hmm.
she's getting all of these boyfriends and dates, and she gets more respect out of the country than in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's African American men, such as yourself, regardless of where you're going, if it's the Dominican Republic or Mexico or Brazil or even in the continent of Africa, it comes back to the whole notion that, oh, you're out there using women because they're poor.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there, because you couldn't make it in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's Black women in America, it's perfect if they're going to Italy, Jamaica, or wherever. why do you think there is so much hatred on African American men who are deciding to leave the United States and start a new life somewhere else?
Yeah, well, touching on Carrie Champion, what is she not doing? Like, she's probably a multi-figure woman, worked at ESPN, and I think has a podcast with Jamel Hill or something like that.
Right.
Are the men she is dating over in France, or what are they, six-figure men? Are they multi-millionaire men? So if they're not multi-millionaire men, if they make less than her, then isn't that quite a double standard? So I don't understand that. It's not like the women who are making all this money going overseas, dating the black women that are dating outside their race overseas. They're literally doing the same thing. A lot of the women who date, not even in Europe, but in these Latin countries, they're taking care of the man. They make more money than the man. They're still making money in US dollars, however they're making it. So to me, that's even less of a position, because now you're a woman taking care of a man, trying to buy his affection. So that's what that is to me. But when it comes to us traveling, it's always going to be hate. I remember when I announced on my channel why I'm moving to beautiful Mexico. People just, gangs, and they're gonna, the girls are gonna get your green card from you. I'm like, how they gonna get a green card from me? I'm not going back to the States, right? So it's like, you already knew it's just gonna be, too tough, you can't cut it in America. What I learned, if you're a black man, go wherever you want to go. I don't care. If you want to go to Antarctica and play with some penguins, I don't care where you want to go. Go wherever you want to go. Stop letting people shame you into going to places where they want you to go. Because most of the people talking don't have passports, have never left their zip code ever. So they don't know what they're talking about, for one. If they did, they would see that this world out here is so big. Maybe he just likes it in Brazil. Maybe he just likes it in the Dominican Republic. Have you ever even been? Right? Maybe he likes it in Mexico. Have you been? It's literally 2 hours away. So if you haven't been, I don't care about your opinion on it, personally.
Let me ask you this. You said when you left America, you knew that you were not coming back.
I didn't know, but
you didn't know.
I got here,
okay,
it was confirmed.
So let me ask you this: what gave you the courage to take the first step to wanting to leave in the first place?
Yeah, it was a culmination of things, but ever since I got on my purpose, shout out AMS. Ever since I got on my purpose, I'm in my YouTube channel, just been slowly investing in myself. That's one thing, I just try to get across to people: invest in yourself. Always put all your effort and energy into yourself. Never another person who could just flip it the dime of a hat. I see so many guys invest so much time and effort and energy into this woman or whomever they think is just going to be there and be special. Then they flips and you left stuck in the dirt. But if you invest into yourself, put energy into yourself, like I have a book, SBK, Achieving Physical Freedom, How I Overcame Obesity. That's effort and energy I put into myself. I can sell that book forever, right? So it's just stuff like that. So once I started investing into myself, and then once I got laid off again during this whole debacle with, COVID and stuff, and it's just like, this is just a sign. Like, this is a sign that I need to try something new. This is the second time I've been laid off in my life, and it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna take my little 9,000 subscribers that I have, and I'm gonna just keep on trying to build and build and build. That's all.
So you kind of bet on yourself, and I remember you actually had moved to New York City for a bit.
Oh yeah, I got a video coming on that. When I hit 20K, I got my New York City video coming. This can be a good one.
And so you were able to get through that, and now you're flourishing. Because a lot of times the African American men, because you went to HBCU, and you've done everything black. You're from a black city, Baltimore, AMM. Right. You've been in African American culture. If anybody knows it, you know it better than most people, because you've been through everything. And you're away from the black community, and it seems like you're doing you're happier, you're in a new place, you don't know the language. Do you think a lot of black men are robbing themselves by just saying, you know what, we're gonna stick it in America, you know, instead of trying to make, for me, my spot is Uganda, Africa, but everybody's different. I know you were even thinking about going to Africa yourself.
Oh, I'm all over. I'm worldwide. I just got to keep building. I'm gonna be worldwide.
Okay. Do you think that a lot of black men are holding themselves back in America and they have more opportunities other places and they're just not experiencing it?
I think it depends on everyone's situation. I think a lot of people have a lot of stuff going for themselves. In the States, they have invested a lot into themselves. Maybe they got homes and they could have businesses that they're running in the States, right? I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think traveling, I don't think becoming an expat, I don't think it's for everybody. But I know it's a lot of guys who are, like you said, robbing themselves of an experience, especially if, think about it. I mean, let's just take the cost of living. That's probably the biggest benefit you get. And the U.S. dollar is not even the strongest currency, but here in Mexico, we have the Mexican peso. The U.S. dollar is not even the strongest currency against the peso. You have the UAE dollar and you have the euro that are stronger. But just if you have American dollars, just if you can make $2,000 a month, you can live a middle-class life. Believe it or not, you can live a middle-class life in a lot of Latin countries, right? You can live a middle-class life and live a good life and not be struggling and still save money, right? And have more time to yourself. So, and there's a lot of people doing that, right? Now, when it comes to, especially to black men and black culture, I'm from Baltimore, and I made a video in my channel called "Why I Feel Safer Living in Mexico Than in Baltimore," and I already knew that title was gonna get people yapping, but it's the truth. As much as potential Baltimore has, is people dropping dead daily. The city easily cracks 300 plus murders every year.
Yeah.
Every year, and it's almost under 600,000 people living there. So it has a higher murder rate per capita than places like Honduras and Guatemala and some of these countries in Central America that you might think is dangerous. So I'm like, hey, you've seen your brother get killed. I've seen friends in high school get killed. Maybe try something different. Maybe just give it a shot, and you can always go back. That's my mindset.
Let me talk about this because right now, and from not necessarily for content creators, I think we're the only one of the few businesses that have been able to grow during this time.
I've grown the most in my channel I've ever grown.
Yeah, me also. So for us, it wasn't, I don't know, as bad. Although COVID has affected everybody in some way. I can't say for sure that it has affected me in the ways that it might affect some other people financially. But for the brothers out there that are saying, man, well, I want to travel, but right now it's COVID, and it is harder to travel now than before.
It is, and they talking about locking down again.
Yeah. So what would you say about that? As far as some of the black men out there that are having some issues with traveling right now because of the coronavirus. What would you say for those brothers that have been thinking about that?
For sure, you can wait if you. I look. I got my thoughts about what's going on, right? But if you truly feel unsafe, go ahead and wait it out. That's fine. Or you can do what I did and say, well, this country's closed. This country's closed. This country's closed. This country's open. That country's open. Everywhere in the world is not closed. Planes are still flying. Planes have not stopped flying into Cancun. So while you may want to go to the DR, right, because it's so appealing for black men, they're about to go into another strict curfew, right? So it's like, maybe try Mexico, maybe try Tulum, right? Maybe try some other place. Like I know for a fact Colombia, Medellin is back open. No PCR test required, no 14-day quarantine required. So just do your research, look around. Everywhere is not closed. I think Thailand just reopened again too. So, also I think I looked, South Africa is open for travel. So it's like it's still places open if you really want to go.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because for some of you've been living in Mexico I don't know, is it almost a year now or?
Nah, July, and my visa's up, so I'm actually getting ready to move in just a couple of days. My visa's up.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of the benefits, as far as, quality of life, for
Mm-hmm.
guys looking to, if they were to live in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
what did you experience that was much different as far as maybe the infrastructure, power going out,
Yeah.
food? What were some of the positives about the quality of life that you experienced while living in Mexico versus
So
America?
yeah, so automatically off the rip, the food. Look, COVID done trying to make me back fat again. Like it's, I'm looking like Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks, right? So I gotta get lean again. But the
Right.
food is the best. That's probably the best part, man. I I haven't been a lot of places, but Mexico just has amazing, amazing food. So I think the food for sure. Depending on the city you pick, there are some nice apartments, like very nice apartments, like in Mexico City. Man, nice tall high-rise buildings and things like that. Internet is fast too. Where I stay at right now, my internet speed is 60 megabits per second up and down because it's using fiber, right? So I would say the biggest drawbacks that you might have might be, cell phone service, because T-Mobile, what I have T-Mobile, after 3 months, they're gonna cut off your data. A lot of these plans don't work outside the states, but and obviously dating, it depends on your preference. Like that's just so picky. Uh, but yeah, there are dateable women here too and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big boost. The thing is just that most black men just don't come to Mexico, right? They always go to DR, they always go to Colombia, or they always go to Brazil, things like that, and just in Latin America. So you can give Mexico a try because it's a lot for you here. It's a lot of black women that come to Mexico, though. I can tell you
Okay.
that for sure. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. It is so many black women coming to live in Mexico. So, I know going to Italy is the big thing for black women, and Europe, but it's a lot of black women that are actually coming to live in Mexico, not just visit.
Okay. Let me also ask you this. With picking the next country, now that you've lived in Mexico now, what are some of the things that you're going to take, like mentally, going to Colombia, and how are you going to pick your next place? How are you going to pick where you're going to live?
Right,
Kind of give some advice to brothers out there that might be, if they're going to, stay there. What are some of
right.
the things you're going to, kind of how are you going about that?
Right. So I'm gonna drop a video on my channel. This is my advice. If you don't plan on staying there or you don't know if you want to stay, do not rent. Like my renting situation here has been absolutely terrible. It's been very loud. Thankfully, it's been quiet now. It's been very loud. I've definitely had problems with where I'm staying. Do an Airbnb. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you can just always get up and go. Don't tie yourself in with trying to rent a place, especially in Colombia and Medellin. If you go to Medellin or Barranquilla, places like that, if you're not a Colombian citizen, it's going to be tough to rent anyway. So you're going to have to do Airbnb. But that's my biggest advice. Do Airbnb wherever you go. Do not sign a lease. I'm telling you, you're going to regret it. Okay. The next thing is that you want to find out what are your interests and activities, right? Now, despite what everyone thinks, every black man is not going there to whoremonger. I hope that don't get demonetized, but every black man is not going to travel to do just to chase and trick. That's not the truth, right? So it's a lot. It is a lot of black men who just want a different cost of living, who just want to see a different country, right? That's the stereotype black men get. Oh, you only going there because of this. You only no. Every black man is not going there for that, right? So pick the place that you want to go. That's going to make you feel the best, that you are going to enjoy the most, because ultimately it's not about you, it's about you. You're not traveling for other people.
Okay. Now, let me ask you also for, as far as currency exchanges and things like that, how did you handle that, in Mexico?
Hmm.
And how do you plan on, handling that in Colombia and,
Right.
and keep it to a budget and all that kind of stuff? What advice would you give with that?
Right. So my advice is have two bank accounts with two different institutions. Whether you got a Bank of America and Wells Fargo, or whatever, because what happened to me is one of my banks, the card expired, and it didn't expire. They cut the card off because they said it was fraudulent charges. I guess when I got there, but luckily I have Zelle and I can transfer between accounts. But if I only had one bank account, I would be stuck. Like I would literally be stuck because I wouldn't have a card and I wouldn't have a way to access my money. And Cash App you can't use down here. They don't use Cash App, PayPal. They don't have stuff like that. They have Zoom and TransferWise, but a lot of that stuff you just better off having two bank accounts and going to the ATM when you need. Now you can get a Charles Schwab account and they will cover all of your ATM fees internationally. So make sure that you have two bank accounts and get Zelle so you can always transfer money and have two ATM cards so you can always transfer money. The next thing is do not carry an excessive amount of cash because if you get robbed or anything like that, if you lose your money, you're gonna be sick. Right. I see stories all the time of guys coming to Colombia and getting pickpocketed or getting robbed, and it's just like it's a nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So just make sure that you only take the cash that you need. I would say don't carry a card all the time. If you can keep your card in a safe where you're staying, just because like if something happens and something is stolen off of you, you don't want all the information to be gone and you have no identifiable information. So those are some banking tips I got.
All right, let me just ask you this because in Mexico, I don't know if they have a lot of Mexicans or Hispanics in Baltimore, but I'm from California. I do know there are tensions between,
Mm-hmm.
the Hispanic and the Black community at times,
Mm-hmm.
especially Southern California. Have you experienced that? I know I've actually before, but since you've been there, living where you live, do you have any issues with being an African American? Are you treated as a regular American, or are there some,
Yeah.
problems?
So the thing is, Mexicans and Mexican Americans are two completely different people. A lot of Mexican Americans can't even speak Spanish. They've never been to Mexico, right? They're in Texas or they're in California or Arizona. They've never been to Mexico, so they are Mexican of heritage, but they're not Mexicans who actually live in Mexico. So the Mexicans in Mexico are completely different. Mexicans in America got the stereotype of having the Dickies on, that California Dickies and
Mm-hmm.
a Vato and SA and the 40 in their hand with the bandana. Nobody's like that here. I have not seen one. No MS-13 is here. Those are Mexican American gangs. Like it's cartels here. That's the gangs you're going to see. It's no Crips and Vice. I mean, it might be a small percentage, but no, it's primarily cartels. So I've never had problems here. Everyone's cool with me. A lot of people say it's you big black gringo, but I don't think it's that. I just think you just minding your business. Like I walk to the gym, walk to the store. I'm not bothering nobody. I don't cause any problems, anything like that. I'm on my business, right? But I think if you're the kind of person and you just seem to attract that kind of energy, yeah, you're probably gonna have problems. I think in Mexico City you might have some problems. Just depending on the kind of person you are.
Right. Okay. And then last but not least, how have the ladies treated you, since you've been living there, and how,
Hmm.
how has that, the interaction been?
Yeah, it's been COVID, so all you can really do is online dating.
Okay.
And me personally, my preference, I need a little bit of color. That's just me.
Right.
Like that's just my preference, right? That don't mean I don't think everyone's beautiful, but I'm more so attracted to you. Got to have a little bit of color. So they Mexican women do like Latin women do like African American men. They've treated me fine. I went out a couple of times and stuff like that, but it's just been more so chill. I wouldn't say it's been like DR where they're like, coming on the beach and rubbing on you and stuff like that. But with COVID and everything, it's kind of hard to give an assessment, like a real good assessment.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man. Let me ask you this: for the brothers that want to check your channel out, man, um, tell them what they're going to be expecting. If they give SBK, SBK lifestyle, a follow or subscription. What are they gonna, what will they expect to get
Yeah,
from you?
on my channel, I try to make content for everybody because I want to grow as big as possible. I'm red pill myself. I'm affiliated with a lot of red pill people. That's not the content I make. So a lot of people who are subscribed to the guys I talk to and stuff like that. If you subscribe to my channel, you're not going to see that because one, I have sponsors, people that I'm working with and stuff like that. So I try to keep content for everybody, but I try to make content that is going to be helping you think, helping you realize that the world is bigger than the United States. I'll start making some more fitness videos too, even though nobody watches those videos and stuff. Yeah, nobody cares about that. I'm just telling you. It seems like fitness on YouTube is just very dead for the most part, unless you have huge channels. But
Right.
yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. Take you guys to different places. Like I said, next stop is Medellin, and visit some different cities in Colombia. After that, it's no telling. So that's kind of what I have on my channel.
All right, and guys, this is a brother that has contributed a lot behind the scenes to not only to the Black Manosphere, but to our Instagram page that we have. He does a lot of stuff with Alpha Male Strategies and the dating coaches and stuff like that. The guy's really tied in. He's a real insider into this space, and I want our brothers to go give him a subscription. A lot of us have seen you grow, and we want to continue to support guys. So check out the first comment pinned to the top. Check out JSPK lifestyle, or actually SBK lifestyle. And brother, go ahead and tell them your Instagram. So for those brothers that want to check you out on IG.
Yeah, Instagram is King.SBK. I'm not that active on there. I do post from time to time, but I'm primarily on YouTube, trying to give you guys a video every day. So just really subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I appreciate you guys if you do that. Just sub to the channel.
All right, and guys, I do thank you for being on here. Always remember, the buffoonery remains an all-time high.
All-time high.
All-time high.
Get your Black Men Are Perfect t-shirts.
Oh yeah, get those too. I need you money. Anything else you want to say, SPK?
No, man, appreciate it. Keep grinding, everybody. We got this, man. Ignore the hate. So much hate out here, man, but that only means you're getting closer to the top. So let's keep grinding.
All right, brothers. Peace out.